Okay, this is Hazel Kate Quinn, and I am doing this video chat with my friend Jennifer Merritt, who is a theta healer and an emotional freedom technique teacher. And the two of us were talking about safety and, how to feel safe in a situation. And in many ways, like what I talk about with narcissism, it's difficult to know how to feel safe. Like when we leave the narcissist and we try to get our lives back together and we try to connect with other people, sometimes we have to spend time alone healing from this nonsense that we went through with the narcissist. And then we can feel safe reaching out to other, opening ourselves up to relationships with other people, you know, be it new friends or, maybe even a new romantic relationship or whatnot. Maybe even our families, like um, if there's members of our family that we can feel safe with, you know. So yeah, so my friend and I are gonna just sit and talk about um, different ways of feeling safe. Like maybe, like when we know how to feel safe with a certain person, and how do we know that we're safe with that person? Just because they say we're safe and things like that. How do we know that we're not going to be hurt again? You know. So I guess Jen, I'll turn this over to you and get your feedback on this question and this whole thing.
Yeah, I was reflecting on, you know, some of our conversations and, when someone has something happen where they start telling themselves they're not safe and it becomes like a habit thought, and then like, what do people do when they want to feel safe? Sometimes people feel safe when they're not safe. Sometimes people ignore when they're not safe and they tell themselves they're safe anyway. So, our memories around safety can really affect us on a subconscious level. And so, you know, I I think that doing healing work on a subconscious level is really important. Like it is important to be able to have appropriate responses to environments that aren't safe. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's important to be able to also move through the world and be able to see all the good and see all the beauty.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. We can get hurt by a situation, and it doesn't even have to be like with an abusive narcissist. It can be any situation. We could lose a job, you know. It could be for an understandable reason, like say if we show up late one too many times, or if we just, there's something problematic that, we keep making mistakes or something, and we get fired from the job, and then we feel like, oh crap, I was fired, and I have to go get another job, and then you get another job, and then learning how to feel safe within yourself and figure, am I safe in this job? Can I, or will I fall apart again, kind of thing, you know, and just turn up late and things like that, and feelings. It's about also feeling safe to succeed, feeling safe to allow yourself to do the right thing and to take care of yourself, you know. It's like trusting yourself to do that, and understanding that you're not going to be judged negatively for, living your life, you know. I mean, you just, and if you are judged, you can shield yourself. There's ways that we can kind of like just move away from this person if somebody says something rude or whatnot, or somebody is not supporting us clearly, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was like, we would love to all walk around thinking that we don't judge each other, but people form opinions. And,
Yeah.
it's it's a layer of safety to be able to say, you know, like, I'm okay even if someone else doesn't like this. I'm okay even
Yeah.
if I don't like this, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm safe. And when am I safe? What does safety feel like? You know, we define that. Like, we define that for ourselves. And so, and we can redefine it by doing, you know, by doing the work on ourselves.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, one of the things that I struggle with is the safety to make mistakes. You know, I just can't stand to make mistakes, and I can't stand when things go wrong, like technical difficulties, things like that. A couple times we were talking on the Zoom and it froze, and I was getting frustrated within, and I was like, what am I going to do? I tend to take it on whenever things go wrong. And it's because years ago, my parents used to really pounce on me for making a mistake or something. It's like they thought, my dad said to me one time, that if he didn't make a big deal out of and any mistake, like me leaving an umbrella on the subway, you know, and anybody can do that. Anybody can just leave their umbrella on the subway. We don't mean to, but he had to make a big fuss over it. He's like, "What were you thinking?" You know, Answer me. What were you thinking? It's like I don't know. Wasn't really thinking about anything, Dad. I just left the umbrella on the subway because I forgot it. But it was difficult to communicate that. So I don't know, just things like that have stayed with me, you know, and the idea is, and I'm getting a lot better at it now. I'm getting a lot more able to say, oh, okay, I screwed this up, or okay, this thing happened, but I can fix the problem, or just it'll fix itself eventually. It's getting easier to do that. But, my tendency was to, in the past, really react badly to that and really have, like a bad feeling about that because I was afraid I was going to get pounced on in some way or criticized in a really harsh way, you know. So if
Those
that
are
makes any sense.
those are good examples of, you know, like, I know that you've been doing some EFT tapping with me and some guided meditation,
Hmm.
and you're doing that on your own. And those are like really good examples to kind of do some healing work if it's still affecting you. And they're also just good examples to share, so for relatability, because other people can relate to that. And, um, but if they are affecting you, it's like when I was listening to you, I was reflecting on how possibly there's a belief that in order to learn something, you said in order to learn something, it had to be a big deal. And
Yeah.
then an inquiry for yourself could be, well, how can I learn in other ways?
Yeah.
And so that's using the guided meditation and the tapping, and doing that with, like, what other ways can I learn so that I'm not learning to not make mistakes by making a big deal about it. I'm I'm
Yeah.
I'm going into it knowing I'm going to make mistakes and that I'm learning, and that's okay, you know?
Yes.
And so that's a great thing to do, to do some
Yeah.
healing work around for, because we all, and it's like kind of self-reflection, like, how do I learn? And if I
Yeah.
have a belief around learning, um, that doesn't include the ability to make mistakes, then we want to undo that and learn something
Exactly.
new, you know? And
Right.
yeah, so around safety, and then so that brings it back to, like, safe to learn, like, what
Yes.
is the way that is safe to learn? um
Hmm.
and I think it's kind of an epidemic that people kind of create safety and learning by not being seen, by not showing anyone, or a reason that we might need to work on safety is because, and I've done this where I get excited about something and then I show everyone, and I didn't put the time into making it great, I just did it. And, you know, that creates
I've done that.
unsafety. And so, you know, a way to work on safety and building it into your life is to, like, when you're growing something, when you're getting good at something. And when I said when you're getting good at something, I'm also saying when you're practicing something and you're failing intentionally because you're getting better at it, you don't show everyone, you don't talk to everyone. You pick people and
No.
you tell them, like, hey, I'm getting better at this. I want to get better
Hmm.
at this. I want to show you so that I can get better at this. You know,
Yeah.
I would really like positive feedback, or I'd really like
Yes.
criticism, and then really hold space for yourself to receive the criticism, because that way you can be humble and make changes and learn and grow. And I think,
Yeah.
um, you know, so this I had sent you this meditation that I want to share, and it is around safety, but it's also around feeling safe wanting, you know, feeling safe wanting that dream that you want to build into your life,
Yes.
feeling safe. And it can be simple, like, you know, some people, like, will wear whatever clothes they have and never even think about wanting a specific style, you know, because they just
Yeah.
wear what they have. And, you know, so think about, it's like safe wanting. What do you want? What kind of
Yeah.
style do you want? What kind of career do you want? What kind of, how do you want to show up in your relationship? So in this guided meditation, um, around safety and how to feel safe and when to feel safe, and that helps your mind subconsciously, like, reconnect to new ways of all around safety. Another aspect of it is around safety and wanting, like, what do you want to bring into your world? So you got a chance to listen to the meditation. Can you share what your experience is?
Yeah. Well, it's what you were saying about, you know, going, being at your best, or at least not showing everybody, like when you have it, when you're creating something and it's brand new, at its first stage, like my tendency was always, like you were saying, I would show everybody. I would just, because I feel so inspired by it, and by the idea that I want to share my joy and inspiration with the whole world. I just feel whenever I'm happy, I want to share it, you know, and I think that people might share in my happiness. And some people, however, have their own thing. They have their own lives, and maybe they're wrapped up in some kind of battle. They may not be supportive in the moment, or they may not be able to be supportive in the moment, or they just may not understand what I'm doing, and it may not be their cup of tea. So it's like, like you said, learning how to keep yourself safe by not sharing it, right away, you know, and but sharing it with certain people, like people you trust and everything like that. I love that. And as far as feeling safe wanting is concerned, I have done some things, um, starting in January of this year, to make myself, to to do something that I wanted to do for myself, like to make myself feel better, and be healthier, you know. And you were talking about learning and, making mistakes and everything like that. Well, I had gotten to a place with my weight that it was so bad that I couldn't walk, I couldn't get up and do anything, I couldn't, you know, just I just couldn't move because I was in pain all the time, you know. It was weighing down on my bones and my muscles, and it was making me hurt. So I did Weight Watchers starting in January, and so far I've lost about 61 pounds. So I feel a lot better. And I guess it's that safety to take care of yourself, to feel safe to actually take care of yourself. Like I was saying before, you know, and, so, but feeling safe, wanting and moving forward and just taking care of self, and rather than allowing that feeling of unsafeness to keep for in my case, to keep me in a little hole, feeling like things are not going to get any better.
Yeah, well, congratulations. It must feel really good what you're doing for
Yeah, it
yourself.
does.
And earlier in our conversation just now, you had said feeling safe to, feeling safe to be good, feeling safe to express yourself. And I can't
Yeah,
really pinpoint exactly what you said, but um, in those moments when we do cross paths with someone and we're in that high, like, I have this idea, I feel great about what I'm doing, I'm manifesting this. You have all the energy to manifest with that inspiration. And
yeah,
when you cross paths with someone that isn't going to get it, maybe they just have their own stress going on, and you pause and you really see them for what are they going through? What are they wanting?
exactly.
And you
Yeah,
pause.
you can listen to them. Yeah,
If they're not for it, and if you don't share it, rather than thinking, oh, I can't share, I have this, I want to share my joy, I can't share, rather than going to like a negative mind kind of place with it, you can really embody and practice your positive mind and say affirmations like, oh yeah, they're not in a place for this, but that means I get to sit in it longer. Like, I get to sit in it, and that's okay. Like, I don't have to be in the same mental space as them. I don't have to connect to them
yes.
on this. I don't need them to know. And I can just enjoy it myself, and like really
Mm-hmm.
let yourself enjoy that idea, enjoy that creative energy, and let it
Yeah,
percolate, until you find the person that you can feel in your heart intuitively, like check in with yourself. Yes, this is someone that I can share with. And yeah, I think that the more we practice those moments of not speaking and just letting ourselves feel good.
yeah, yeah, and realizing that I don't have to have like all kinds of conversations with everybody in the world. I don't have to share my deepest, innermost stuff with the whole world. And in the past, I used to do that all the time. I don't know why. I think I was searching for some kind of community, but you know, there's a lot that I can keep close to me, you know, while getting to know somebody else, you know, and seeing how the community works for me. So I mean, I keep coming back to this, but it's a big thing for me, the whole sharing with other people thing when you're being creative. And but I like what you said about sitting in it longer and being with it and not feeling like I have to share with the world, because I was always under the impression, like with creativity, you create something and you share it, so that you can, you know, so that it can be seen, you know. But there's something that you can miss about doing it that way, like there's something, a lot of things I can miss, like rather like just sitting with it, you know, you feel all the goodness of, of how, of the inspiration and like what you're working on, the ideas and the story, like in my case, the writing that I do and my music, you know, and it's just, you can just sit in this creative process and it is so wonderful. I've been, able to sometimes just take myself away from the rat race and just be in the creative process, and there's nothing like it. It's like a real high, so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, this is great. This is great.
So I guess let's wrap up. I know that the meditation that is on safety. It's a theta healing that we're talking about,
Yeah.
and I'll share a link to that for you, and to share with everyone. And then Could you also share about like the EFT class and the artist's way that we're working on?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Give me the link to, well, I'll share the link to your website, and I'll talk about the class, you know, the EFT class. I'll just mention these different things that you do, and, put up you want me to put up, links for specific classes, or would you like me to just put up your website? I think,
Yeah, that's
either
fine. That would be
one.
great to share that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, I was just going to share your site and just talk about, various and other different classes that you offer and everything, which is so wonderful because, um, for those of you tuning into this video, I worked with Jen last year on an emotional freedom technique class, and she really gave me a lot of insight about my mom. You know, I've um I've talked about my family before, and there was a time when I felt very unsafe around them because many times we would argue, and they would, I mean, like I mentioned earlier to Jen, like my dad would make a big deal over every mistake I made. And so would my mom, so it was always such a big deal. And I felt, looking back on that, like I was being bullied. And sometimes I was, sometimes they became very heavy handed. But what I didn't realize is that they did love me, even though sometimes I felt unloved. But they did love me, and they did want me to grow, and they did want me to be safe out in the world. I mean, they were always concerned about my safety anyway, because I used to want to take SEPTA at night. SEPTA is our mass transit system for those of you outside of Philadelphia, you know. And I would want to take the train or the bus, to go meet my friends at night. And my parents didn't want me to do that because they wanted me to be safe. They didn't want me to be mugged or raped or anything horrible like that, which I understand, but at the time I remember being like, "Oh God, I just want to get out," you know. But that's just one example. But it's I realized over the years that my family really does care about me and has my best interest at heart. They just, we all have they have their issues, and I have mine, and sometimes things would get a little toxic, but there was always love. So, and Jen helped me realize that with my mom, and without even knowing it, we did a lot of emotional freedom technique. She just does pressure points, acupressure points, things like tapping on certain parts of, like your head or your neck or your shoulder or whatever. And being able to tap into certain things that feelings are locked in. Am I right, Jen? It's like, like if feelings can get locked into like your shoulder or your your temple or things like that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
So it's really a brain body connection. And there's certain points on the body that while you're tapping, it has an impact. And it's an energy healing. It has an impact on the energy. But it also calms the central nervous system. So it helps us. And I'm also a licensed hypnotherapist. So I'm using guided
Oh, good.
imagery for neurolinguistic programming and so a combination of techniques. Um, to help people kind of see things differently. So, yeah, it was really nice to hear your story around, like this session we did it over a year ago and then where you're at now and how it's helped you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, it has helped me. It did help me quite a lot, and it's lasted, and it's just the best classes that you can do with somebody, the best sessions you can have with somebody are those healing sessions that last and that just keep helping you grow. you know it's like, and you may not always need to keep going back, you know although you would love to, and stuff like that, but I mean, in my case, it was not having any money, but it was also that it really helped me. So, but yeah, these classes are good for anybody who needs them.
I'm
Stuff like
so
that.
glad. And thank you for sharing it. You know, like you can't do this work without meeting new people. And, you know, I'm always
Yeah,
kind of like on a lookout for like who is interested in this. And so thank you for helping us connect with people in that way and
definitely.
sharing it. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. And thank you, Jen, for allowing us to have this conversation and for me to put this up on my channel, and I, for to help anybody who may get something out of it. So I thank you for participating and for this video.
Sounds good. I will see you soon. And all right. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
I'll